Council of Shadows. The Grand Convergence Chamber of the Galactic Council was built to intimidate lesser species. Every inch of it, glittering obsidian floors, spiraling tiers of delegates, hovering banners of ancient empires, whispered one idea: power belongs to the old. The room hummed with political tension, energy conduits glowing beneath the floor like veins in a living creature. General Arya Trenholm stepped into that arena with the quiet confidence of someone who had outgrown intimidation long ago. Her boots clicked once. The entire chamber fell silent. The human delegation took their seats, but Arya stood alone at the central podium, facing the 96 representatives of the galaxy's most powerful species. Her uniform was immaculate, silver trim reflecting the cool blue lights overhead. A thin bruise on her cheek, earned in a recent training drill, only made her look sharper, harder, as if she were carved from willpower itself. Across the chamber, General Veilcourt watched her with reptilian contempt. The Empire's champion, the self-appointed enforcer of the old order. A towering, armored figure whose species believed dominance was a birthright. His slit pupils narrowed as Arya activated the treaty display. A holographic star map unfurled between them, projecting thousands of shimmering wormholes. "These 6 corridors," Arya said, her voice firm and resonant, "were discovered by a joint survey team. Under Council law, shared discovery means shared jurisdiction." Veilcourt snorted, a sharp guttural sound. "Humanity's obsession with legalities is tiresome. You multiply like vermin and grasp at territories you cannot defend." A ripple of murmur spread. Arya remained still. "General," she replied, "Earth is not requesting territory. We're requesting fair allocation. If that threatens you, you're welcome to file a formal petition." The insult was subtle, yet nuclear. Filing a petition meant admitting defeat. Veilcourt rose slowly from his seat. "You humans swagger into the stars, thinking your brief ascension changes anything," he growled. "You are children wearing the armor of giants." Arya didn't move. "We earned our place. We allowed you a place." He descended the steps toward her, boots thundering on the obsidian floor. The chamber's security drones whirred to life, but the council chair raised a hand. He wanted this played out publicly. "Veilcourt, return to your station," the chair warned. But Veilcourt was beyond hearing. He stood inches from Arya now, towering over her, breath hot with rage. "You twist data, human," he spat. "You rig surveys. You steal resources. You lie." Arya's calm cut through the chamber like a blade. "I presented transparent findings and invited third-party verification. You refused." His jaw twitched. Every representative leaned forward. And then, driven by humiliation, fury, and an unbreakable imperial superiority, the moment came. Veilcourt struck her. A sharp, echoing blow. The chamber erupted in gasps and shouted orders, alarms flaring crimson. Arya stumbled to one knee, hand braced against the floor. The impact rang in her skull, but she held herself steady, breathing slow, controlled. For a moment, she saw not the chamber, but her mentor, Admiral Leighton, killed in a supposedly accidental imperial peace negotiation years ago. The same arrogance. The same contempt. She rose. Her hand didn't reach for a weapon. Her voice didn't rise in indignation. She simply looked Veilcourt directly in the eyes and said, with absolute cold clarity, 10 seconds. He froze. "What did you say?" 10 seconds, she repeated. The first second passed. Empire guards reached for weapons. The second. Human observers rose, hands hovering near emergency consoles. The third. Security drones converged overhead. The fourth. Arya's pupils flickered with a faint, electric sheen. The fifth. A soft distortion shimmered behind Veilcourt, something bending light, almost invisible. The sixth. The chamber's motion detectors glitched, registering a ghost signal. The seventh. Veilcourt's mouth opened shout. He never got the eighth. A blur, silent, clean, nothing more than a ripple of displaced air, moved across his back. Veilcore convulsed forward as if yanked by an unseen force. His body stiffened, then dropped to the floor with a heavy metallic clatter. 9. The shimmer vanished. 10. Silence swallowed the chamber whole. Delegates stared in horror and disbelief. No weapon had fired. No attacker had been seen. The security systems hadn't flagged a single intrusion. Arya didn't blink. General Veilcore, she said calmly, forfeited diplomatic immunity the moment he initiated physical assault. My escort responded lawfully. Counselors shouted accusations. Empire commanders roared. Human diplomats activated protective shields around Arya. The council chair lifted a trembling hand. Who executed the response? What escort? Arya stepped over Veilcore's still form and turned toward her delegation. Our classified operative, she said. Codename, Phantom. Invisible, silent, and authorized for immediate defense in case of mortal threat. Assassination, the Empire roared. Self-defense, Arya replied. Codified in Council Law 4, Section 12. Your general broke the rules. Humanity merely followed them. The chamber was chaos now, shouting, arguing, scrambling. Emergency messages flooded comms. Empire delegates stormed out. Neutral species whispered fearfully. Arya stood alone at the center, perfectly composed, bruised but unbroken. In 10 seconds, the old order had shattered, and Earth had just changed the galaxy forever. The 10-second scandal. The diplomatic wing of the human embassy on Astrium Prime was a fortress disguised as glass and steel. Its walls shimmered with subtle defensive barriers, its hallways patrolled by silent aerial drones. But despite the security, the atmosphere inside felt fragile, stretched thin under the weight of the galaxy's outrage. General Arya Trenholm stepped through the decontamination archway, the bruise on her cheek darkening, the imprint of Veilcore's strike still fresh on her skin. Yet her expression held no pain, no fear, only a precise, simmering focus. For human officers waited for her in the central chamber. They rose at once. General, medics are ready. I'm fine, Arya said. Status report. The embassy screens were already flooded with a storm of incoming transmissions, public broadcasts, emergency alerts, diplomatic condemnations. Every news outlet in the galaxy replayed the moment Veilcore struck her. But nearly all Imperial stations stopped the footage just before his hand made contact, rewriting reality in real time. The room dimmed as the holographic feeds synchronized. A headline scrolled across one display in bold crimson. Imperial hero murdered by human weapon, war imminent. Another feed showed an Empire spokesperson demanding Arya's arrest. A third displayed slowed, magnified footage of Phantom's barely visible distortion, interpreted by Imperial analysts as a premeditated assassination device. Commander Holt, Arya's aide, clenched his jaw. They're twisting every angle. The Empire claims you provoked him. Arya raised a hand. Let them. Truth doesn't need urgency. Lies do. Her calm steadied the room. She turned to a console and opened a private channel. The interface flickered with encrypted glyphs as a secure connection formed directly with the intelligence nexus on Earth. A digitized voice answered, smooth and emotionless. Polaris Online, Earth's most advanced strategic AI. Report, Arya ordered. Empire mobilization detected. 11 fleets repositioning along neutral borders. Probability of retaliatory strike, 92%. Covert teams deployed to target human diplomats across 6 sectors. Holt swore under his breath. They're not even pretending to de-escalate. Arya wasn't surprised. Any internal resistance within the Empire? She asked. Minimal, Polaris replied. Fear of retribution suppressing dissent. Arya exhaled slowly. The Empire's grip was tightening, not loosening. And the galaxy was watching, waiting to choose sides. She stepped away from the display, pacing the room with slow, thoughtful steps. The Empire believes humanity will react emotionally, she said. They expect outrage, demands for retribution, perhaps even a preemptive strike. Holt frowned. And we're not doing any of that. No, Arya answered. We're going to be precise. She turned toward the central holodeble and activated a star map. The wormhole corridors, those same 6 disputed passages, glowed like silver arteries threading across dark space. These corridors will determine the balance of the next century, she said. And the Empire knows they can't seize them by law. So they tried provocation, Holt muttered. Push you. Make you lash out. Start a war on their terms. And they failed, Arya finished. For a moment, the room fell quiet. But something else weighed on her, a truth deeper than politics. She dismissed the officers with a nod. Give me a moment alone. When the door sealed, the chamber dimmed automatically, leaving Arya in the soft hum of isolation. A faint distortion flickered across the far wall. Arya didn't flinch. You can step out, she said. The shimmer coalesced into a humanoid silhouette, sleek, armored, matte black plating that seemed to swallow the light. No insignia, no faceplate, only a thin, pulsing line of blue where eyes should be. Phantom. He knelt, not out of submission, but protocol. Commander. Rise, Arya said. And explain. Phantom stood. His voice was low, filtered, yet unmistakably human. I neutralized a lethal threat. You killed him before he drew a weapon. His strike qualified as intent to escalate. You were in danger. A beat. And he was not just any officer. Arya, turn away. Say it. The biometric imprint of his movement patterns matches the assailants who killed Admiral Leighton. Phantom paused. He was involved. Silence. Deep, heavy, personal. Arya closed her eyes. The Empire had insisted her mentor's death was an accident. A diplomatic misunderstanding. Another unfortunate incident in their long history of domination. Now she knew. She faced Phantom. You acted without hesitation. I am programmed to defend you, he replied. But I chose to kill him. Arya's throat tightened, but she nodded slowly. Not approval, acknowledgement. The walls lit up suddenly as Holt burst through the door. General, urgent message from Earth. High Command requests immediate briefing. Galactic backlash is escalating. Arya straightened. Patch it through. The room shifted to high security mode. Walls sealing, signals jamming, lights dimming to deep violet. The holographic faces of Earth High Command flickered into view. Admirals, commanders, intelligence chiefs. Admiral Vance spoke first. General Trenholm, the Empire is preparing for war. We need your assessment. Arya breathed once, steeling herself. The Empire wants chaos, she said. Instead, we give them clarity. We will not retaliate impulsively. We will not give them the war they engineered. She leaned forward. But make no mistake, if they force conflict, we will not fight for territory. We will fight to end their tyranny. Vance nodded grimly. Then you will lead both diplomatic and military preparation. The galaxy trusts you now, Arya. Do not waste that. The transmission faded. Phantom stepped forward. What now? Arya looked out the window at the sprawling alien city, lights reflecting off the mist. Now, she said quietly, we prepare for a war they cannot control. Shockwave across the stars. The Helion Rift was a ribbon of turbulent space. Violet storms twisting through the void, gravitational eddies shimmering like liquid glass. It was also the last place anyone expected a war to begin. The Rift had no strategic worlds, no major outposts. Only a single human research station hovering in the chaos like a fragile lantern. And that was why the Empire struck there. It was a message. A quiet massacre meant to slip beneath diplomatic radar. Arya Trenholm stood in the command deck of the human flagship Resolute as the footage played. Engineers, 42 civilians, had been vaporized without warning. Their last transmissions echoed through the bridge, broken, frantic, painfully short. Commander Holt's voice strained. General, the Empire claims it was a navigational malfunction. They're calling the strike a tragic misfire. Arya didn't look away from the screen. They're lying, and they know we know. Phantom stood at the rear of the deck, arms folded, visor glowing faintly. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. The galaxy was changing around them. Holoscreens across the bridge flickered with incoming reports. 7 neutral species condemning the Empire, 3 declaring independence outright, dozens demanding human protection from reprisals. Humanity had not fired a single shot, yet the Empire was bleeding allies. Arya turned from the screen. Prepare Phoenix Ascendant. Holt stiffened. Ma'am, that protocol mobilizes the entire covert fleet. I'm aware, she replied. Her eyes were cold steel. The Empire made their move. Now we make ours. The order rippled through the ship like a detonation. Lights shifted to deep amber. Holograms updated. Quiet ships hidden across 12 systems awakened, shedding stealth masks and aligning for coordinated deployment. Humanity had never wanted to rule the galaxy, but they had always prepared for the day someone tried to chain them. That day was now. The Resolute emerged from slipstream above the Helion Rift to a sight that would become the legend of the century. 3 Imperial dreadnoughts hung like dark gods over the fractured nebula, each the size of a small moon, armored in obsidian plating, bristling with weaponry. Their engines pulsed with pale green fire, illuminating the rift like lightning trapped in metal colossi. Holt's breath caught. 3 dreadnoughts for a research station? They're not even pretending anymore. Arya stepped forward. Signal them. A human officer opened a channel. Imperial command vessels. This is General Arya Trenholm of Earth. You have unlawfully attacked a civilian installation. Power down weapons immediately, or we will respond. Silence. Then, laughter. A low, distorted voice filled the bridge. Human General, you presume authority you do not possess. Turn around or be erased. Arya's jaw tightened. Engage gravlances. The bridge hummed as the Resolute's weaponry came online. Massive gravitic beam emitters capable of bending space itself. Experimental. Devastating. Humanity's darkest ace. Targets locked. Holt whispered. Arya raised a hand. Fire. The ship's hull vibrated as 3 beams of invisible force lanced across the void. Space rippled, silent, beautiful, fatal. The first dreadnought's shields crumpled like wet paper, its core imploding into a flash of collapsing energy. The second twisted as its internal stabilizers ruptured, folding inward as if crushed by a giant's fist. The third dreadnought retaliated immediately, firing a barrage of emerald plasma. Brace! Holt shouted. The Resolute trembled. Shields flared white-hot. Consoles flickered. Phantom's voice cut through the chaos. Permission to deploy. Granted, Arya said. The super soldier stepped backward and disappeared in a shimmer. Inside the Imperial dreadnought, alarms screamed. Phantom materialized in a corridor of alloy-plated walls, moving like a shadow given purpose. Drones attacked. He dismantled them with surgical precision. He moved through blast doors before they fully closed. Weapon sensors failed to track him. He wasn't just invisible. He was unpredictable, learning, adapting, evolving in real time. He reached the command core and spread his hand across the interface. Data spilled open. Empire atrocities. Secret experimentation. Internal coup attempts. Orders to provoke humanity into a war engineered by Veilcor's faction. All of it. Phantom transmitted everything back to Arya. Then he disabled the dreadnought's systems with a single pulse of EMP. The colossal warship drifted powerless. On the Resolute, Arya watched the Imperial fleet collapse in a chaos. Crew members surrendered by the hundreds. Some turned their weapons against their own officers. Others broadcast desperate pleas for asylum. General, Holt murmured, awestruck, they're defecting. No, Arya said quietly. They're waking up. Her words weren't triumphant. They were sorrowful. For the first time, the Empire's soldiers were seeing their rulers for what they were. Tyrants willing to burn the galaxy for pride. A transmission came through. A trembling Imperial captain. General Trenholm, we wish to stand down. We request protection. Please. Arya gave a single nod. Granted. Shut down your weapons and follow our instructions. Across the rift, ship after ship complied, lights dimming, engines powering down in peaceful surrender. The Empire had thrown its strength into the void. and in minutes, humanity broke it. Back on the bridge, Phantom reappeared in a ripple of distortion. Arya faced him. The data, it's real? Yes, Phantom said. Veilcore's assault was orchestrated. A faction within the Empire intended to sabotage peace and seize control. A soft, cold fury settled into Arya's chest. They wanted war, she said. And now they have it, Phantom replied. Arya turned toward the stars, watching as drifting dreadnoughts glowed in the rift's stormlight. Not their war, she murmured. Ours. The galaxy would remember that day not as the start of a human war, but as the moment the Empire's illusion of invincibility shattered. And Arya Trenholm stood ready to finish what they had tried to provoke. Retribution and rebirth. The Imperial Throne Hall had once symbolized absolute, unquestioned power. A cathedral of obsidian pillars and gold-veined marble, lit by hovering suns, guarded by armored statues that towered like silent gods. Every conquered species had been paraded here, forced to kneel under the Emperor's gaze. But now, the hall was half dark. Shields flickered. Guards whispered nervously. Stormlights sputtered like dying stars. The Empire felt fear for the first time in centuries. General Arya Trenholm walked through its shattered gates without a weapon. Her steps echoed like judgment. Behind her, 2 human envoys entered with measured calm. And above, unseen in the rafters, Phantom drifted like a ghost. No longer merely her guard, but the embodiment of humanity's promise. We protect our own. At the far end of the hall sat Emperor Exortal, once draped in shimmering armor, now slumped on his throne. His eyes burned with a mixture of fury and resignation. General Trenholm, he said, voice trembling between pride and fear. The council has no authority here. You stand in my domain. Arya stopped several paces before the throne. Your domain collapsed the moment your fleets fired on civilians. You think this is over? The Emperor spat. You assassinated my general. You humiliated the Empire in front of the galaxy. Arya's gaze did not flinch. Veilcore struck me. That is the truth. Your networks cut the footage. But the galaxy has seen the unedited feed. The Emperor's face twitched. Arya continued, stepping closer. And we have the proof of your crimes. She raised her wrist. A hologram bloomed into existence, projecting Phantom's decrypted data into the air. Secret laboratories, forced labor camps, manipulated elections provoked wars, species extinctions hidden behind bureaucratic lies. Pages of atrocities, flashing one after another, illuminating the hall in stark, damning light. Gasps echoed from the gathered Imperial officers. The Emperor's facade cracked. Fabrications, he snarled. Phantom materialized behind Arya in a silent shimmer. The files came from your own encrypted archives. Guards reached for weapons out of instinct, but froze when Phantom's visor pulsed. None had the resolve to challenge him. Arya took a breath. This is your last chance, Exortal. Step down peacefully. Face a fair tribunal under the Alliance Accord. He rose slowly from the throne, his armor groaning. A tribunal? I am the Empire. I do not kneel to insects. Arya met his glare. You don't have to kneel. You only have to surrender. The Emperor's answer was a roar. He lunged. A man born of privilege and brutality, armored in ceremonial steel, striking with centuries of arrogance. His gauntlet swung toward Arya's throat, and a black streak intercepted it. Phantom. He moved faster than thought, faster than fear. His hand clamped around the Emperor's wrist, stopping the blow cold. The floor cracked beneath the impact. The Emperor's eyes went wide. What are you? Phantom spoke with no emotion. A consequence. With controlled precision, he twisted. The Emperor collapsed to his knees, armor clattering across the marble. Phantom did not kill him. Arya had given no such order. But he broke the last illusion of imperial superiority. Arya stepped beside the fallen ruler. You engineered Veilcore's attack to provoke us. You ordered the destruction of Helion Station. You planned to use the chaos to purge political rivals and expand your rule. The Emperor growled through clenched teeth. Humanity was becoming too powerful. You needed to be contained. Aria's voice hardened. No, you feared a galaxy where everyone stands equal. She signal-tapped her wrist. A transmission opened across all Imperial networks, broadcasting live. Aria faced the cameras. People of the Empire, your ruler has confessed to orchestrating violence, lies, and genocide. He will now face trial. Exortal's officers looked from the holograms to their kneeling emperor. The spell of awe and terror shattered. One by one, weapons clattered to the floor. A captain stepped forward, trembling. General Trenholm, what will become of us? Justice, she said, not conquest. Humanity isn't here to rule you. We're here to end the cycle of tyranny. Phantom released the emperor, who collapsed completely, breathing ragged. Arya signaled the envoys. Take him into custody. As the dethroned emperor was bound in stasis cuffs, the hall grew silent. No jeers, no triumph, only a profound, stunned quietness, as if the galaxy itself exhaled. Hours later, Arya stood on a balcony overlooking the imperial capital. Fires in the distant districts had faded. Civilians poured into the streets, confused, hopeful, free for the first time in generations. Holt approached from behind. The Alliance Accord has accepted your proposal. The Empire's systems will transition to shared governance. No more hereditary rule. And the fleets? Arya asked, standing down under Alliance supervision. Arya nodded. Good. Phantom appeared beside them, visor glowing softly. It is done. Arya looked at him. Not done. Beginning. Below them, lights flickered across the city like new stars. Vale Court died in 10 seconds, Arya murmured. But the Empire fell because it believed humanity would kneel. Phantom answered quietly. They understand now. She turned from the balcony, walking toward a galaxy ready for change. Then let's rebuild it, she said. And humanity stepped into its new era, not as conquerors, but as the force that finally broke the universe's oldest tyranny.